Okay, so this is the card about success, okay? It's next to the Queen of Pentacles, so this is worldly success, having a lot of financial abundance, like I mentioned. Some of you might be getting a promotion. Some of you are getting a major step up in your career. Some of you might get a big pay increase. But either way, your financial situation is golden. It looks really, really positive. And you're also re-examining the work that you're doing. And I feel like, yes, on the one hand, it is very stable. It brings home and generates a lot of money for you. But with this Four of Cups, it's like, I want a little bit more. I want that fantastical job. I want that magic and the passion. And I want to feel alive with the work that I do. So some of you are at a point where you're just like, yes, this job is great, but now I'm looking for something new. So I feel like this new energy with the Death card and the Judgment card is all about seeking something new, seeking something that is a lot more in alignment with the things that you believe in, which is the exciting journey, starting a new blank page, being able to travel, being able to move, having more flexibility, and especially being in a little bit more of a warmer, more tropical environment. So I feel like for many of you, it has snowed too long where you are, is what I'm sensing. So I don't know if you're living in an environment where it's a little bit sparsely populated and it's really hard to find a community of people, or you're in an environment where it's like cold year round and you're looking for more sunshine. So that ball of fire, that sun in the sky that looks like a ball of fire, it indicates to me a more tropical environment. And I feel like you're looking for sunlight, or you might, for some of you, have seasonal depression. And so it would behoove you to move to a more warmer climate, okay, just for your emotional health. Of course, we all don't have the luxury to just be able to pick up and go, but I feel like you're starting to realize it. Some of you might be aging and you're just like, I can't stand this cold anymore. So I need to, get myself to a better place or to find something else. So I feel like there's a need here, movement in the southern direction. So this is travel. This is swift travel and swift movement and swift communication and relocation, and especially moving into the southeast direction. I feel like that's what's in store for you guys. So you might be contemplating about new jobs that are coming through in the picture. There might be a new job on the offing for you that might require a total relocation. And it looks really, really beautiful because what's coming through is the King of Pentacles, which is new promotion, new work. The Hierophant, working in a very strong, working in a very stable, a very institutionalized type of an environment. This is a job that I usually call it like not so much working for a nonprofit or a private enterprise, but more for the public sector, okay? Dealing with institutions, dealing with like top-down type of management, which is not all bad. It sounds boring, but it's not all that bad. And it's so stable and it's been around for a really long time. So you have a little bit of job security, but then on top of that, it pays really well. Okay, so you can escalate and you can, get constant promotion. You can climb that corporate ladder. And the work environment itself, I feel like it's really right up your alley. So some of you might be solicited for a job. Some of you might be solicited to run a company or an organization. Some of you might be thrust into really strong, intense leadership positions. And you have all of these ideas that you have collected from all the other places that you have worked to really make some major, powerful changes in this kind of stale and stagnant environment. And at first, people might not be receptive, but I feel like over time, they're going to start to see the merits in it. They're going to believe in the things that you're trying to bring forth into the world. And they're going to, I feel like, internalize your vision. And so you might have been like the visionary ahead of your time, and you might have wanted to implement a lot of changes. There were blockages. There were people that are like naysayers, or there were people that were just like, that's too much too soon, because I feel like, you have a lot of ideas that you're throwing out there. And this person is like, no, slow it down. And so the environment that you're in, especially if it's a new work environment, people are a little bit more inspired, a little bit more willing to experiment, and a lot more receptive to the sense of magic that you're trying to bring into the new environment. So I feel like if you are contemplating, should I stay here? I've got a house here. I've got friends here. I've got a lot of assets. I've got like, a good social network. And should I leave all of this and transition with the death card and the judgment card into a new work environment? Is that going to bode well for me? Is that a practical choice? And I feel like you definitely should implement this move because it's going to bring in like a breath of fresh air that is very much welcome in your life, okay? So that's the first thing that I'm seeing. Let me talk about all the other marginal things. What we have here is the World. I can't pick up the card. And this is the closing of a cycle, okay? And realizing that a cycle is closing, realizing that the whole world is out there waiting for us. There's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of like different areas that we want to explore. There's a sense of, I feel like there's a sense of like longing for the exotic, wanting something that is different for many of you. And so I feel like this is a card about yearning. She's almost like looking through that door that is left ajar and wondering what her life would be like if she were on the other side. Okay. So it's almost like acknowledging that, yes, what I have here is okay. It's very, very stable. 10 of Pentacles, things that are built up over time. Okay. So I feel like for many of you, this is a work situation where things are really, really stable. I can keep going. I can keep advancing. I'm going to get a pay increase every year. I can get promoted. I already know what I'm doing. I'm in a really powerful position where I can be groomed for a leadership position, but it's a little bit stale and stagnant. And I feel like in the past, you might have convinced yourself, this is where I could, start a life. But then over time, possibly within the past 3 years, 2 years even, it has proven to be a little bit like too rigid, too structured, too predictable, and it's no longer your cup of tea. And so you're thinking about other options, okay? For others of you, you have a really strong soulmate connection here. And we have here the Two of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles. I feel for some of you, you're shifting into a relationship where, a lot of the time, I don't know what it's like to be married and, to be married to somebody for like 5 years or 10 years. But I feel like there is a relationship, regardless of how long the two of you have been together. There's definitely somebody that you're living with. There's shared assets. Shared bank account, housing situation, grocery bills, possibly children, possibly, like both names are on the car, both people's names are on the house. So there's like a lot of financial entanglements between you and another person. And I feel like you're sensing that the love is no longer there. The love has transformed and it has become very quiet. It's no longer passionate. It's a very safe, stable, quiet type of a love that might have started out very passionately, but now it's more friendship based. And strangely, I feel like Pisces, you want a certain amount of drama in your relationship. And, this is a true, I feel, of all dual signs, okay? You and the Geminis. And in a way, like the Sagittarius, okay? You want, like the dual signs, you deal with duality. If it's too safe, too stable, it's too predictable, it could be a little bit boring for you. If it's too hot and heavy, too unpredictable, then it can be too much for you. But you want a certain amount of push and pull. You want a certain amount of love, but then detachment. So you want a little bit of tension in your relationship in order for you to feel alive. And I feel like there's something here that is a little bit safe, predictable, but at the same time, you perceive it to be stagnant. You're trying to, re-inject some type of passion in this relationship. And then for others of you, you're at the peak of your income generating capabilities. You have a really, really good partner. And I feel like one person might be the breadwinner in this relationship, and there's nothing wrong with that. And because of that, there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to, why don't we pick up and relocate somewhere else? Why don't we, make some drastic move? Why don't we move away? And you can work from home, and then I can find another job, and everything will be amazing. So you're trying to find that passion or re-inject that passion into a relationship, and you might feel like, maybe we should move. Maybe the change in scenery, the change in location, the geographical locational changes would be that, would kind of like be that spark in this relationship, that much needed spark for this relationship. So I feel like you're looking at a situation and you're trying to find external sources of inspiration to bring into the fold, when in fact the relationship looks perfectly fine, but you're looking for something a little bit more. Okay, for some of you, you could be dealing with an earth sign, and I'm seeing Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Some of you could be dealing with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And what I'm feeling in general is that the two signs that you're dealing with, these are more homebody. These are more domesticated people that you're dealing with, okay? Especially the Scorpio and also that Taurus. They're a little bit more, well, Virgos too, Cancers especially. So either way, my point is, the people that you're dealing with, they're a little bit more on the domesticated front, okay? They're nervous about change, and I feel like you're pushing change too much, too fast, and it's making them really, really apprehensive. And I feel like they might feel like you're a little bit frivolous, you're a little bit whimsical. You might be initiating something or starting something, and they're not really sure that 3 months from then, after implementing this change or this decision, they're not really sure if you're still going to get bored and do something else that is just as drastic. So I feel like they're telling you to slow things down. They're telling you to mull it over. But deep down, they are very internally scared of change, scared of upheaval, because they're a little bit more domesticated, and they're a little bit more like, they're looking for a little bit more certainty. They want to put down roots. So, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Like, that's the mentality of the person that you're dealing with. They're very practical. And so it's really hard to convince this person. And I feel like you don't have to convince them with the practical argument. You just need to convince them with the emotional argument, which is being able to identify accurately what it is that you want, what it is that really stirs your passion. I want to be in the tropics. I want to interact with different people from a different culture. I want to be able to, walk around at night without feeling cold. I want to be able to, it's like just telling them what it is that really stirs you. And I feel like when you approach these people from that angle, it's going to really hype them up. It's going to make them want to bring these things for you, or create these things for you, or to go out into the world and find these things to give to you. So I'm sensing that many of you are looking for a change. You've realized that where you are professionally, it's stable. It can keep growing, but you're not really happy there, because emotionally you yearn for more, and you yearn for more excitement and more adventure. And if it's the spirit of adventure that you're looking for, I feel like somebody is putting like a damper on your plans, but I feel like you can convince them. Okay. They're just afraid of change, and they're just afraid that this is something that is, fickle. They might think that you're fickle, like you might want this now, but 3 months from now, you might not want it, and you might regret the decision. So I feel like they're not really understanding what it is that you innately need and want. And so you kind of need to walk them through the process. Okay. I'm sensing like an age gap, a cultural divide between two people as well. The World card usually indicates like dealing with foreigners. So you might be dealing with someone who might have different values, who might be culturally very different from you. And so you're seeing the same situation, but through a different lens. And so approaching them from a different perspective, I feel is a lot more, it's going to yield a better result. Okay. Some of you could be dealing with a lot of different people in your work environment from different backgrounds as well. So work ethics, might be different. Okay. The things that we value as, I'm speaking here from an American, like, standpoint. Okay. The things that we value when it comes to work ethics, when it comes to punctuality, when it comes to quality and delivery of our work might be very, very different across the board. If you're dealing with people from different culture. So there might be, these little annoyances that you have to kind of work out when you're dealing with cross-cultural communication, cross-cultural expectations as well. The bottom line is everybody's on the same page. They want to achieve the same things and they have the common goals in mind. So I feel like this can be overcome. It just needs to be approached from a different angle, and talking to people by activating more of that heart chakra, really trying to inspire people, and telling people that, appealing to their self-interest. There we go. Appealing to their senses, appealing to their emotional needs and their self-interest. I feel like that's really going to allow you to gain traction in this situation. So if that's the case and you're feeling a little bit frustrated, I feel like there will be communication breakthroughs. Okay. And then on the other hand, you have really good, loving relationship partners overall there that are very, very stable. If there has been a recent argument with another person, especially Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, there's going to be a working things out. Okay. So I feel like if you're dealing with another person who is very, very stubborn, I feel like you're dealing with someone who's a little bit cold, pragmatic, practical, a little bit calculating, but very warm. And, just like someone who's a really good match for you. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of mutual understanding. This person is choosing to be stubborn. And I feel like there is going to be a communication breakthrough. The Judgment card is greatly about that. Somebody, honking the horn or blowing the horn, which basically means communication is coming into the picture. It's going to work itself out. So I don't want you to worry over it. It just takes a little bit more time, and it just takes you being able to express yourself in a way that will allow them to kind of like learn to put themselves in your shoes to understand where you're coming from.